Hey folks, welcome back to the Bullets and Brass channel. I actually imagine a lot of you are not my normal viewers. You are here because of the specific topic of this video, so welcome. This is basically my thoughts on the Supreme Court leak for the Roe v. Wade case. I mean, it's not really specifically about that, but it is and it isn't. First, let's get the purely political side of the actual response out of the way. If they don't treat this like a major criminal activity, a major legal issue, this is one of those things that breaks down rule of law in a country. If you don't prosecute this, if you don't hunt down with the full force of the federal law enforcement system the individual or individuals responsible, you're basically saying that it doesn't matter, which in a situation like this, clearly it does. We have gone roughly 200 years without this happening. It is absolutely not an acceptable thing to have happen. Regardless of your opinion about the actual case involved, regardless of your opinion or your beliefs one way or the other on the political spectrum, this is not an okay thing to have happen. It just isn't. You are subverting the process by which the court needs to operate. You are creating a scenario where before they have even announced an actual decision, they are going to be heavily attacked in the media, in social media, individually. You know, this is not going to be something where they can operate the way they're expected to operate. And regardless of your opinion about the specific topic, that should be scary. That should be something you are highly concerned about. And if you are the government, if you are part of federal law enforcement, this needs to be a high priority. This is way more important than, somebody saying something you didn't like on YouTube, okay? This is up there with threats to the president, threats to a Supreme Court justice. This is up there with somebody physically attacking a federal building. Not January 6th kind of attacking. I mean, like, you blew up the building kind of thing. And if you don't treat it that way, then you are breaking that trust with the population. You have to treat this appropriately. If you don't, you are basically telling one side, we're looking at this as a very partisan issue. The fact that we, as an administration, are okay with this leak, we're okay with leaks. And if you say that, you are basically delegitimizing your system of government, regardless of who's in power. Next, given the positions and the sensitivity of the work being done, I have to assume that everybody involved is subject to polygraphs. Probably not the Supreme Court justices themselves, but honestly, despite my opinion of Sotomayor, I doubt she was personally involved. I doubt she knew anything about it. Most likely her hands are completely clean. But certainly her staff, anybody who would have had access to those offices. I'm literally talking about the guy who worked on the air conditioning ducts, all the way through senior staff members or outside visitors. Anybody. If somebody physically had access to the building, they need to be checked. Because very often hacks like this are not an inside job in the normal sense. It is somebody got a USB key where it shouldn't have been, which then gave somebody else access to then hack that system. Because it isn't, as far as I'm aware, the Supreme Court system, the email computer system, is self-contained. This may be a VLAN system and not really self-contained, or it may be physically air-gapped. But either way, the easiest way to hack that is to get somebody to physically plug in a device, whether it's a USB-based or RJ45-based. If you can physically connect something to that network, your life got 1,000 times easier. If it was a direct leak, because there's all sorts of theories about who leaked it, right? Your investigation should cover all of this. But I do think this should be treated the same as leaking any other major national secret. This is, you know, leaking war plans, leaking information about our nuclear arsenal, leaking scientific data that is sensitive nationally. This is not leaking the menu for the press, the press dinner, okay? This is serious. And to be clear, I'm not concerned with what the case involved is. My beliefs on this topic would apply even if it was a speeding ticket case. Say they were deciding red light cameras. This is not a political issue as far as I'm aware, but say that was the topic. And I could be wrong. It could be a politically charged issue, but I think everybody speeds, so everybody cares. It's still the same issue at heart. The leak is the same issue. Now, on to the topic itself. I don't believe in coincidences. I think that this leak was very specific. I think that whether it was a larger conspiracy or an individual, that this topic was specifically chosen because it is so absolutely polarizing. And I think that's important. I think that we need to not get distracted by this topic to the exclusion of all these other topics that are going on right now. Because this is the kind of topic where, if the people here, not the ones out here that are never going to work together, but the people here are working together on, hey, we both think that these things that are happening are horrible, that we think this needs to be addressed. And suddenly you bring up a topic like this and they go, they are out of the ends because they don't think they can survive politically otherwise. Or they absolutely believe. Not saying that the people here for some issues are not out here on this issue. I just think that most of the country is way less concerned with this than comes across in the media and the politicians try to portray it as. I have found it particularly amusing that in the ongoing memoir on Twitter and Instagram and elsewhere, I'm sure on Reddit and the various other forums and such, the two sides clearly are not concerned with actually convincing the other side. It's all about stirring up their side. It's not that the two are like going head to head. It's that, one side is saying this to their unit, their group, because that reinforces their moral high ground, right? That's telling them that we're better, which gets these guys riled up that the other side isn't, right? That's what makes this topic so dangerous, that you take people who are otherwise in agreement on many things, and you've picked a topic that they absolutely will never come together on. And you did it in a time period where you really needed everybody on your side to not talk to everybody on that side without it being a heated conversation. Where you needed everybody on your side to be on your side because you've been screwing up a lot lately and you look really bad, even to your core. Well, this is a great topic for that, isn't it? So yeah, I think this is a smokescreen. I think this is an intentional leak to divide the nation and use it to avoid getting completely trampled at the polls and rebuild support for the Democrat Party. I think the Democrats know they're in trouble in terms of the elections, and not this midterms, but going forward, and are absolutely desperate for anything that can solidify their position, even if it's just that we've split the camps so that we don't have these crossover votes and that our core isn't disillusioned and doesn't vote, that we need every non-right-winger to vote Democrat. Well, this is the kind of issue that does that. And regardless of where you stand on the particular issue, hey, there's more going on. We can't lose sight of those other issues. And regardless of where you stand on those other issues in terms of like the politics of it, they need addressed. They need to be resolved. And brushing them under the rug, brushing them out of social thought by picking another topic that is divisive is not how this is supposed to work and is dangerous for the country. To me, that is far more dangerous than any of the topics at hand. The topics at hand will fade. We will move past them. The people come and go. Damaging the system that our country operates under takes a really long time to heal, if ever. So, my thoughts. This went longer than I thought it was going to. I thought this was going to be a very brief video, but take care all. Stay safe. Just keep in mind that most people around here, the vast majority of people are pretty close to the middle. Not the middle that you create when you've got people way out one side or the other, but the actual middle of the road. Most people are perfectly happy to have a reasonable conversation. You don't have to agree, but you might be swayed one way or the other, or you might sway them a little bit. Have the discussion without the vitriol, without the harsh rhetoric, without dragging hard emotions into it. Talk about the reality. Anyway, ciao guys.